Welcome to the launch of Mind Body Spaces by the wonderful, the one and only Joanna James. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
1 second. We have an echo there. I have to mute myself. But there we go. So Mind Body Spaces launches today, Joanna. When did we start this project? About 2 years ago, was it?
Yes, it's been a long time in the making, but some things are worth the wait.
It's been marinating. I know. I have watched it come together, and you have put all of your best work in here. It's just, you just get lost in the pages and just connect with the words, and it just drives you along. I absolutely adore your work. So thank you for sticking it out to get it out into the world. I commend you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your support in being able to do that. So I really appreciate that, Karen.
But isn't it that every book has a journey, and once you honor the journey, then you get the best out of it, and I believe that that's what happened. And talk about time and circumstance aligning in your life right now is the perfect time for this book to be born. So, it's just a testament to that, isn't it? Do you feel that as well, Joanne?
Yes, absolutely. It's divine timing. Today is a very special day. So it's a significant event in my life, and it's great timing because the planet really needs this information right now.
Absolutely does. It absolutely does. So let's talk about mind body spaces. I bet you everyone's intrigued already, hey? And thank you to everyone who's joining us and watching live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. And be sure to go and check out and grab yourself a copy of this amazing book at kmdbooks.com, on Amazon, or in your favorite retailer, okay? And please share with us where you're from. And if you have any questions for Joanna, please pop them in the chat box and we will grab them, okay? But Joanna, Mind Body Spaces was obviously an important book for you. So why is it that?
Well, Mind Body Spaces is really a compilation of 20 years of my life, and the combination of the variety of things that I've learned from my architectural building days through to understanding building biology, and a lot of my personal and spiritual journey and where they intersect and the things that I've learned. And it was a very important thing for me to put the dots together and be prepared to speak up and to share it with the world in an effort that it might help others. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
You're there to hold the light for others through your own teaching. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So the contents of your book, as I said, is amazing and just draws you in. But without giving everything away, let's chat about some of that content. And one of the, a preface to the Mind Body Spaces, you talk about life as a spiral. Can you just chat on that a bit?
Sure. So the universal law of rhythm says that everything moves in patterns. And the way that we typically experience it is we can never go backwards in life. And in fact, we move in a spiral pattern. So essentially what happens is we'll revisit circumstances from a slightly different perspective, but it feels the same. And it's a different point on the spiral. So as we move through life, we get these unique perspectives of similar but different understandings of where we may have been in the past, and we complete this cycle as we move through time. And so this is something I've noticed in my own life, that we move in a spiral pattern, just like the beautiful pictures of the universe. We do the same. We move through life in a spiral type pattern as we learn and as we grow.
In the book, there's actually diagrams to demonstrate that, but listening to you speak about it, it's just like music to my ears, because when we become aware of it and our own rhythm, it's kind of like a superpower, isn't it? You can identify how your life moves along, and you're able to, flow with it better. Do you agree?
Absolutely, because we're always moving forward. Yeah, we're always in motion, right? We're bodies in motion. That's what we are. And in fact, we're on a planet that's in motion, spinning in a spiral through the galaxy. And so it's the analogy of that. And when you realize that, it makes the lessons of life so much easier, because you can just kind of enjoy the journey and the vista as things change.
Look, it's happening to me on screen. Like, what is that? Is this your words making this happen?
There's a whole lot of
Amazing.
light shining down on you right now.
I do not know where that's coming from, but hey, we'll embrace it. We'll embrace it. Joanna, so obviously your book is in mind, body, spaces. They're the three main areas in your book. So let's talk about mind. And one of the sections that I pulled out for us to talk about, which there are many golden nuggets in this section, I have to admit, but I want to talk about the mind and creativity because that's, it's amazing when we embrace that.
Absolutely. So the truth is that absolutely everything is created in the mind first. In fact, 98% of all creation is made mentally. Only 2% is action. And so we are creative beings creating all the time. Everything, all of our experiences, in fact, things that come in a physical form are created in our mind first. And so the process of creativity is a really important one to understand how your mind is in fact creating your life. And then in essence, specifically with this book, how you are creating the spaces and what they are here to teach you to learn.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm just going to disappear here. I'm going to put
You're back.
Joanna up front. You disappeared. Houdini here today. So I'm just going to put you on speaker view so that my shenanigans can be hidden. So, so next we're talking about the body section of of the book, Joanna. So can you speak with us a bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing to understand about the body is that we have many different types of bodies. We have a physical body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have our meridian systems, our chakra systems. In fact, there's a little bit in the book where I talk about Donna Eden and her 9 systems of energy in the body. And what's really important to understand is how our body gets affected by the spaces that we live in. And what you can do to clear your body so that you can create your life from a clear space. And this is the part of the book where I go into specifics about scientific measurable things that actually can affect the body, such as mold and EMFs, all sorts of things. So it covers things from the energetic experience of the body right through to the physical reality of how toxins affect us in our homes and in our buildings, and understanding a little bit more about that, because it's not something that's widely known. And when you look at a lot of the symptoms that happen physically for people in their homes, they often appear like the flu or fatigue, or sometimes can just be exhaustion, and so they're often misdiagnosed. And it's actually the home has got physical issues with the home that is affecting the occupants and affecting their health and well-being. So homes affect our bodies in a variety of ways. But more important than that is to understand that you're actually more than just your physical body. Your physical body, also has an energetic body, right? And how the energy of places affects you. So if you look at the work of Masaru Emoto and his effect on water, he did those beautiful crystalline pictures where he played music and he showed the difference in the structure of the cells by the energy that were emitted. Well, our body is 60% water, and in some organs it's 84% water. So the energetics of the buildings that we live in affect the physicality of our body. And that's why you can go to spaces and you feel uplifted and vibrant, or you can go to places and you just feel uncomfortable. And there can be a variety of reasons that contribute to that. But the physical spaces are affecting our bodies.
Wow, isn't it just fascinating? It's absolutely fascinating to go there, but also very scary when you think about it. And so can I just touch on that you've just moved house, so energetically around you, there's a shift and a change, and it's a positive one because you've had the opportunity to declutter and clear. Can you just speak on the benefits of that and maybe incorporating that into our lives on a regular basis?
Yeah, absolutely. So we attract buildings into our life the same way that we attract people, and they're usually here to teach us some lessons. So the house that I just packed up out of, I'd been associated with for 20 years. And so there was a very big cycle in my life that was coming to a completion. And as I packed up out of that home, and I was consciously making choices about what I was going to take with me and what I was going to leave behind, what I was actually doing in essence was sorting through the patterns of my mind and the choices that I was making about my life and about the life that I intend to create moving forward. And so we do this all of the time. So, many people will have heard of the beautiful Japanese lady that says, you hold an object, and if it resonates joy, you keep it. If it doesn't resonate joy, you thank it and you let it go. So in our homes, we have a collection of a variety of things, right? Some things are useful, some things are broken, some things are old, some things are sentimental, some things are valuable, some things are precious, and all of these things have meaning, right? But it's the meaning that we give the objects that's reminding us all the time of who we are, the life we're creating, who we want to be, how we feel about ourselves, what are our beliefs about money, about success. It's all encapsulated in our home and in the objects and the interaction that we have with our homes. But yes, the home that I've moved to is a magical home. It's on top of a mountain. It's very elevated. It's surrounded by nature. It's got an amazing feng shui chart. It's clean, it's light, it's bright, it's a fresh start. And for me, it's a cycle of a new beginning. So it's a very exciting time for me indeed. I'm very, very grateful to have this home.
We can see it just glowing through you, Joanna. We just can see you. It's just so special. So, in your body, right? So you speak about how the body is the doorway to the spiritual. Can you speak on that? And also, what are your tips on clearing energy if you need to clear an energy?
Sure. So the first thing to understand is that there's 4 levels that you need to clear. You've got a physical level, so you can do things like the food that you eat, drinking more water, detoxing. So on a physical level, you can clear your body. You've got a mental body that you need to clear. So if you've got racing thoughts, if you need to get things out of your mind, if you need to write things down, if you need to talk things through, so you can mentally clear your mental body as well. And you've got emotional clearing that you can do. So you can do all sorts of things, from using essential oils through to doing all sorts of emotional release work, right? So, sometimes you've just got to grab that pillow and you just got to scream in it, right? And if you've got anger, you've got to get it out. So, these are the things that you can do to look after yourself. And the 4th level is on an energetic level. So that's actually grounding yourself, working with your energy centers, making sure that, you haven't picked up anything that's maybe somebody else's energy, residual energy, old ways of feeling lethargic. Often people might feel tired or they've lost their energy. A typical example of this is go to a shopping mall. Who feels tired when you come home from a shopping mall, right? Like there's lots and lots of people, lots of artificial lights. All of these things are affecting your energy. So, it's not something that's necessarily talked about in the day-to-day, but your energy field extends well beyond your body. And there are simple practices you can do to clear that and to keep that energy clear and bright, so that, when you're creating whatever it is in life, you're creating it from all of you without any interference. So there's the 4 levels that you can work on to clear yourself. But essentially, we live in a physical body. And we are spiritual beings. Yeah, so we're not humans having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And what that means is that, like it or not, it's all happening at the same time. So there's a physical reality that we live in, and there's an energetic and a spiritual reality that's happening too. And it's an overlapping of these dimensions all at the same time. And so the book is really helping people understand, how can you navigate your way through? How can you understand for yourself where these things start and where they stop? And what are some of the simple ways that you can learn how to do the practice for yourself, so you can learn more about yourself, which inevitably enhances everything that you do. It enhances your day-to-day life, your career life, your relationships. All of these things are happening on multiple levels at the same time. And yet typically in life, we just talk about the physical. We talk about
Yeah.
the day-to-day, the physical reality of life. But the fact is that there's a whole lot more going on. And, it's really important that people start to talk about it, because it can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of unnecessary stress and de-stress when people don't understand what's going on. And often the buildings that we live in have a big part to play in that, right? So whenever you move to a new home, you've got to clear that home, right? It's kind of like getting a second-hand pair of jeans and not washing them before you put them on, right? Well, it's exactly the same. And we do this often subconsciously, by cleaning the house and putting our furniture in, rearranging objects. But you can also do it very intentionally, to actually clear the space, to also reset the space. When you get into geomancy work or feng shui charts, or even space clearing techniques, there are specific things you can do to reset that building so that it's got a neutral base. And so that the things that happen from that space are happening from your creation, not the history of everything that's happened there before, right? Because sometimes these things can affect people in a really dramatic way.
We can onboard other people's energy, can't we, really and truly? And we have to be very mindful of it. And it's not something that we're taught in school, but when we have conversations like this, we're able to become aware of it. But even if we haven't bought a new house, even our own house needs that energetic clearing every now and again. So have you got some strategies on how we can do that in our own homes right now?
Sure. So the first thing that you need to understand is that our thoughts are energy, and that our thoughts become things. So what you intend in a space is the most important thing. So when you're clearing a space and you're working with you can use a smudging stick, or you can use spray bottles or spritzers. You can use sound. You can even make it fun with the kids. You can get out the saucepans and just bang the saucepans. You can use little bells. All of these things help because they're vibrational, right? You're moving energy, you're moving vibration. But the most important thing is your energy, what you bring, what your intention is for that space, what it is you're wanting to move or cast away from that space, and what it is that you're intending to call in, right?
Yeah.
So our homes become like reflections of our beliefs about what our life is going to become, right? And so it's important when you're clearing a home that you just go into every room, open it up, get lots of lighting, get lots of air through the space, walk through the space and really claim the space and make it your own, right? Have a look around at things that are broken. Are there things that are dirty? Are there things that are cluttered? Is there anything in the space that doesn't make you feel good? When you walk by it, there's that, broken picture frame that Auntie Kay gave me that I really don't like. I don't know why I have it anymore. All of these things carry an energy with them, right? So if it's not of you, and if it's not of the type of life you want to create, thank it, send it goodbye, right? And if you want new energy to come into your life, you have to create space. You have to create space. So if you remove physical objects from your home, you're creating a vacuum for new energy to come into, and your subconscious mind starts to look for new possibilities, right? And it's a new possibilities that you believe. It could be a new relationship coming, could be a new opportunity at work, could be more money coming. I tell you what, I started finding money everywhere when I was moving out of my home. I was doing a lot of work on my money mindset, my beliefs around prosperity. Didn't matter what I picked up, I found money in it. Just started coming like this. So it really does work, right? But you have to physically move physical objects out to create a space for new energy to come in.
Oh, absolutely. And intentionally. God, it's just music to my ears. And I see Ron just commenting here in the comments. He said, well done, Joanna, you deserve it. It seems like you manifested it. He's talking about your home there. And then
Yeah.
the older you get, the more you start to understand the truth in this. And it is that, that you do kind of realize and see. And I was nodding when you were going, that picture frame that's cracked or is broken, and like you don't really like it anyway, but you feel obliged to keep it. There's energy in that, and it's not a good energy. Just let it go. Just let it go. Free yourself from it. There is, it's funny, and you just make me want to go and clean my whole house from top to bottom. So thank you for that.
It's a very interesting process.
Isn't
I
it?
suggest start with one room first. Start with your
Oh, yeah.
closet first, Karen, right? Because it's
Start with
easy to
one,
do.
one step at a time. Oh my goodness. If you see me going into hibernation, guys, you know what's happened. I've turned to cleaning. You talk about bliss, our own bliss. How do we achieve that? Is that by harmonizing all these thoughts and everything together and have, keeping a check on our perspectives and, and our mind body spaces?
Well, I guess the most important thing to understand about bliss is that it's personal and it's unique to you. So, what brings me bliss is going to be different to what brings you bliss. But there is one fundamental truth, and that is that bliss is a vibration, and it's a vibration beyond joy, right? So, essentially, if you want to experience bliss in your life, it's actually a vibration that we're checking into, and that's why you get those beautiful tingling feeling, and you can feel light, and you can often even see sparks of energy or feel that energy within you. And so the more that you can elevate your personal energy, whether that be with the foods that you eat, so staying away from toxins, whether it be working on clearing your home so that your home is of a vibration that's supportive and uplifting, then the better it will be for you to get on your own journey towards realizing your bliss. But I think, the main principle that I was trying to communicate in the book is, I don't know about anybody else in life, but I searched for many years for, the one amazing way that you have that moment of enlightenment. And what I realized is that everybody has their own unique journey. It shows up for everybody in a completely different way. And the way in which you interpret your information is unique to you. Nobody else on the planet will experience that way. And so it's really something that you have to set out to intend to experience for yourself in your own unique way. But it's all about raising your vibration. So anything you can do to support you in that is going to bring you closer to that realization, and buildings play a huge part in it. Right? So if you're living in a home and it's dark and it's damp, it's got mold, it's affecting you physically. Perhaps the previous tenants had, terrible history of arguments and violence. It's actually in the walls. It's actually in the walls of the house. You've got not only the physical walls affecting your body, but you've got the energetic residual of what's happened there before. So keeping your spaces clean and clear and of a high vibration supports you in being clean and clear and in a high vibration. And so just like brushing your teeth, you have to look after your homes. You need to learn to clear your homes and reset the energy, because if you don't, it stops moving, it becomes stale, and it can pull your energy down.
Goodness, you were so amazing at talking about this and articulating it and just making us feel it and go, and just, just giving it there to us. It's amazing. Ruby says, bliss is a vibration and it is beyond joy. That's a great takeaway. And that is, that is an amazing thing just to say, bliss is a vibration and it's beyond joy. To know that there is more, you can go to a higher vibration. It's just wow. And Namrita says, raising your own vibration is so important. It actually is. It really truly is, isn't it? Joanna, you're going to read for us. Are you ready to
Yeah,
read
so
for us?
I am. I'm going to read a little excerpt. In fact, this leads into it perfectly.
Beautiful.
So from page 45, we're in the chapter on the body. Our bodies are vibrating particles of energy. So it really is our choice if we want the energy to be clear and bright or dense and dark. When heavy energy affects us, it will naturally be much harder to see life from a clear perspective. Doing things to cleanse and clear our energy is vital for one's clarity, whether that be looking at the food and the nutrients we eat or the water we drink, or whether it be the way we clear and connect with our chakras and other energy systems. It all forms the foundation of our experience in a body. This concept is at the very center of our gateway to spirituality. As humans, we seek to understand through realization how the physical realms and the energetic realms connect. Like a swinging salon door, the irony is the door is not closed to either side. Imagine the dramatic scene in a movie where the heroine pushes the hidden book in the bookcase and suddenly it spins around to reveal a hidden room. In actuality, we are living in this crossover complexity of energies all the time. It's just that we perhaps see it only from the perspective of the side of the doorway from which we currently perceive. For those of us on the planet who can sense things beyond the norm, it can sometimes be a confusing place to be with, far too few people to share it with. For many years in my life, I kept my experiences very close to my chest for fear of judgment and perhaps even ridicule. Those who are clairvisual, clairvoyant, or clairaudient will at some time share our stories about how we came to understand what the heck was happening. As an opening occurs and the extrasensory perception expands, it takes some time to integrate, especially when it's not usually something others find relatable. I wish I had someone in my early 20s who could have explained to me in basic English what I was experiencing. It would have made the next 20 years a lot less challenging. It would have made Oh, and there we go. So all things start within the body and how the body exchanges energy within the physical spaces we occupy. Naturally, we will gravitate to places that uplift our sense of spirit. However, there are also places we should avoid. Just as Masaru Emoto demonstrated music could change the crystalline structure of water, our bodies are composed of over 60% water and in some organs up to 84%. It follows suit that when our bodies are also influenced on a cellular level by the vibrations of our surroundings, the energetic charge of a physical space will have a different relationship on our bodies and also the sense we have on our own energetic connection. A harmonious space encourages a harmonious connection, as an example. It's a great myth that spirituality or enlightenment is something beyond us. In my view, it's better described as the very essence of who we are, the essence or natural way of feeling connected to one's understanding of life, oneself. While walking with your feet firmly planted on the ground can be a tad challenging. I mean, who hasn't found themselves at times when we would rather live in an alternate space than the current place we find ourselves in? This juxtaposition of mastering several realms at the same time is really what life is all about. It has been an enormous comfort knowing that at any time, the gateway is an internal doorway available to be opened to an experience of the beyond. Now, just a little bit of an insight into the deep, deep part of the body chapter.
Isn't it wonderful? Oh my goodness, Joanna. And I said to everyone, would you please ask your questions? But they were just so all entranced in listening to you reading. So, guys, please ask your questions and I will ask Joanna. But, Joanna, did you write the book that you wanted to read? Like you were saying that you wish you knew all of this information in your 20s, you know? Like this is obviously a book that we can gift to people we know, younger. But is this the book that you wanted to read?
There's probably a whole lot more I would have written if I wanted to go into that part about clairaudience and clairvisual and understanding things on an energetic level. But I think, yes, it was a big part in my journey to be able to speak out about my life experience outside of my business and corporate world and, my life as a mum and, my marriage and my relationships, the day-to-day of life. And I think it's really important that, people start to talk about it. That's not something weird, that it's actually a part of life and it's okay. And it's also not something airy fairy. It's actually very, very real and very tangible and affects people in a very intimate way. In fact, just the other day, I was speaking with a young lady that was having all sorts of new experiences in her life, and she just found great comfort in being able to talk with somebody that didn't find it weird. And there are a lot of people that are opening up to new ideas about life and beginning to understand that life is a whole lot more than the day-to-day and what we can physically see. Yeah, there's a lot more happening here, and so the planet is really on that journey.
It is absolutely. Now, I'm also, work in publishing and all of that kind of scenario, but I write on this exact topic as well because when you come to understand that, everything flows so much easier when you embrace it, Joanna, isn't it? And that's, when that is part of the success journey, is to be able to open up and harmonize all aspects of your life and be aware of it. And then you live at the higher vibration and life is more enjoyable, and you can see that glowing from you, you can see that all aspects are, harmonizing for you. And it just is a beautiful thing to watch, but it will inspire other people. And it's just important that it's not woo woo. It's very important information that you need to know about the energies. It's actually science, isn't it? It's things we need to know.
Yeah, the book covers all sorts of things from my journey in business and some of the amazing things that happened, as we grew companies and as I, opened offices with different energy charts and moved the team around and the sorts of things that you need to understand in terms of the principles, because it's all principle-based learning, to help you grow and develop a successful business. Through to literally the scientific things that are measured with meters, with Gauss meters, electromagnetic fields. I mean, this is not woo-woo stuff. This is, you turn up with a toolkit and you go through the house. So there is a variety of things, and it covers a variety of spectrums, from the left to the right, all the way through. And the book is really about saying it's a complete journey. It's not just one part of the journey. We tend to break up things in life and isolate them into small parts. But when you put the whole piece together, you realize that everything's layered on top of each other. So the spaces that we live in have these layers, these patterns that are affecting us. And the question is, which one? Is it the energetic pattern? Is it a mold issue? Is it something to do with my patterning, my beliefs? The clutter that I'm bringing to the space? What is it that's affecting the person in that home or that building? And I've seen dramatic changes with money coming in, dramatic changes with relationship shifts, with health shifts, all sorts of things, just from changing the buildings.
Yeah, the results are there. It's amazing, isn't it? I wonder. We've got a few questions here. One from Namrita. So I'm just going to make that one. What is one mantra you would give to deal with negative physical surroundings or people around you?
Well, the first thing is I wouldn't focus on the negative at all, right? Because energy goes where your focus is. So, the mantra would be, I'm always safe and protected. Yeah. The
I love
energy
that one.
around me is clear and bright. So I would work on maintaining your sense of positivity, as opposed to even focusing on something else. So that would be my advice for that one.
Yay, beautiful. Tim has asked, is your living space a reflection of you, or are you a reflection of the space?
It's
E.g.,
prob-
versus my desk versus my mind.
yeah, it's probably a bit of both, right? So you definitely do attract buildings into your life to teach you lessons, right? That's my personal belief, in the same way that people come into your life. Some people come into your life are wonderful, some people come into your life are awful, right? But both ways you're getting lessons, right? But what you can control is your response and your reaction to that. So it's a way in which you're learning your reaction to the environment. But an environment will definitely affect you. So often, when we're doing building audits, we will say to people, when did this change? When did you move into a home? And people will pronounce a significant change in their health, their wealth, or their relationships around the exact time that they moved homes, right? So the house itself is affecting that person, right? It definitely is. It could be a feng shui issue, could be a geomancy issue, could be a health issue to do with toxins in the home. So the home is definitely affecting the person, but by the same token, the person chose to move there, right? So you can't have one without the other. The question is, what is it? What is it, and what do you need to do to shift it, right? Because it's you've got to come to that realization for yourself, right, before things change. Because if you don't realize it for yourself, it doesn't matter. It only has meaning when you have that realization for yourself.
I hope that answered your question, Tim. Amazing, amazing insight. We've got one here that I haven't done this way before, but let's see how it goes. Um, it is, she's asking, how do you maintain balance in your mind, body, and space every day that will bring vibration in your activities? Get that?
How do I?
How do you maintain balance in your mind, body, and space every day that will bring vibration in your activities? That's from Ruby
Yeah.
John.
Okay. So I'm probably going to go out on a limb here and say, I don't actually really believe in balance. Balance is a split moment in time, right? If you've got a seesaw, it's in balance for like 1 second and then it changes. So, I had a lot of stress in my life when I was trying to keep things in balance all the time. It's actually impossible. I don't believe in it, right? What I do believe is that overall, okay, I have control over where I choose to put my energy. Some days it might be more focused on work. Some days it might be more focused on my health. Some days it might be more focused on my children or my relationships or my friends, right? I have control over that, right? But if I'm trying to fit my life into what I think is a perfect balance, you're going to go crazy, right? Trust me, I did it for many years. It doesn't work. So what I would say though is, it's a little bit like brushing your teeth. Yeah. And it's just a discipline, right? So every morning when you wake up, have a morning routine, right? Clear your mind, look after yourself physically, make sure you've set yourself up. I'm totally into raw cold pressed juices. So my favorite thing is I like to make sure that I make several batches and I have jars of them in the fridge, right? So that's how I look after myself, right? But if I'm traveling, I do it in a different way. So not that we've been doing a lot of traveling with COVID lately, but it will change, right? But it's a daily discipline, morning and night and in between, right? To maintain your health with what's going on. But definitely, making time in the morning to put yourself first, to get really clear, to look after yourself, your health, to set your intentions for the day. I love to set my intentions for the day. What are the 3 things I'm going to do today? I love ticking them off the list, right? And also winding down and clearing yourself at night, letting go of anything from the day. If it's been a stressful day, get in the shower, right? Just wash it off, right? So, that's a very simple space clearing technique is wash your hands, right? You have to shake hands with somebody at work and you didn't like their energy. As soon as you can, go to the bathroom, wash it off, right? So there's lots of things that you can do throughout the day. You've got to find what works for you. But there's lots of tips and tools in the book, and there's some exercises in there for you to do too, right? And visualization is also a really powerful thing to do, right? Visualizing yourself in the morning, visualizing your home at night. I remember when my kids were little, I would tuck them into bed. I would mentally clear the room and then I'd go around the house, right? And in the same way that, I'd space clear the house, every now and then I would go clear the whole property. I'd go walk around the whole garden, clear the whole property all the way around, seal it, protect it, imagine that it was vibrant and bright.
Oh, amazing. Ruby says daily discipline on a routine. Another takeaway. There we are. Ruby, you're getting lots of takeaways today. Tim has asked a really valid question here, which is interesting because we all have different dynamics in our households. So what happens if your teenagers' relationships to the space are very different to yours?
Yeah, that's a challenging one, isn't it? I recall a time when my daughter had a partner and he was like nothing short of evil. I mean, he really was. I mean, it was, quite extreme and very challenging for me. And yet, I suppose you have to allow them the space to go through whatever it is that they are going through, right? And so you have to be prepared to have that in relationship to you, right? So they may not get why you want to keep things a certain way in the home. I remember when I was little, the kids would love to have stuff everywhere. But over time, what I noticed was every now and then, I'd say, right, okay, guys, this is getting out of control now. We've got to sort out the house. It's getting a bit chaotic in here. And then they'd jump into it and they would organize things and, they would be, more precious about it than me. So they are observing you and they are picking up on the things that you do, even if they don't acknowledge it right now. And, you know, I remember my teenage son, I mean, probably a little bit like yours, Tim, was just, you know, stuff everywhere, didn't want to do anything in the kitchen, like, you know, was very absorbed with what he wanted to do. But, you know, interestingly enough, in his early 20s, he became so particular about how he kept his space, how things were organized, right? So it was just a phase that he was going through. So you just have to be sort of patient and kind and allow them to go through their process, because until they see the difference for themselves, right, it won't have any meaning to them, right? So you can subtly suggest things like, you know, when my daughters have been going through a challenging time, you know, I'll just go, hey, what about, you know, we tidy your room, you know, and then I'll do that with them. And then I'll say a couple hours later, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling much better, Mum. Oh, isn't that great? You've got a clear space now, right? You know, can you see things a bit more clearly, right? And sometimes it's a reflection of what they're going through as well. So it's a good indication for you around what's happening for your kids. Right? How organized are they? You know, is there something that's a little off, doesn't feel right in the space? So it's a good reflection as a parent around what's going on for them.
Do you find, Joanna, this is just a question for me, that
I can
sometimes
always,
it's just to maybe sometimes leave a space and walk away from it, maybe go for a walk and come back and revisit it with a clearer mind. Do you think that's beneficial sometimes?
yeah. So remember we talked about clearing your home and your intention being the most important thing, right? So if you're in a bad mood or if you're angry, if you're feeling negative, right? You know, it's probably not a great time to be clearing the space. Okay, because you're actually bringing that energy to the work that you're doing. And I'll give a very simple example. Recently at Christmas, I cleaned out all the Christmas decorations, organized them by color, thought that it was fabulous. Just a couple of weeks ago, I went back to separate them, right, to only take what I really needed. And what I noticed was that about 30% of the baubles were actually broken. So I had been so focused on sorting by color that I hadn't noticed that they were broken. So you will only see in your space from the perspective that you currently bring. So if you want to clear your space, right? Yes, it will help you feel better as you do it, but you can only see things from the space that you're in. So sometimes you have to come back. You have to do exactly that, Karen. You have to leave, come back to the space and look at it with fresh eyes. Otherwise, you don't see it in the way that maybe you need to.
It's fascinating, isn't it, Joanna? Goodness, we could just talk about this all day, but I think that Joanna shared enough with everybody. It's time for you to go and grab your copy of the book, guys. It's one of the reads that I really recommend this year, and how timely for us all, especially when we're spending more time in our spaces, just to be mindful of ourselves and how we are inhibiting those spaces. Because one simple shift can actually change your experience. Isn't that right, Joanna?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are creative beings creating all the time.
Yeah.
So we're creating everything first in our minds, and then it shows up in our life physically. So if you want to make some shifts in your life, have a look around your house, check out what's going on. And if it's something that you can't figure out, then get some help with somebody that understands things in this way to help you do that.
Absolutely. Fabulous. And guys, if you missed it, Joanna was on Ticker News earlier on. Watch out online. You'll see it up and around. It'll soon be live online. But yeah, it was amazing to watch you in that space sharing on Ticker News this morning to celebrate the launch of this amazing book. So kudos to you and happy launch day. And we can officially say that this book is launched into the world. So congratulations. I'm sure everybody wants to congratulate you in the comments. And if you scroll, there's lots of congratulations in there. So happy launch day, everyone's saying. So thank you so much to everyone online who's been watching, and thank you so much to all of our attendees and all of the amazing comments. And to you, Joanna, thank you so much for being so amazing with sharing your information and for staying the course to write mind body spaces. Thank you.
Thank you for your support, Karen. And yeah, there's something in this book for everyone, right? From business owners to stay-at-home mums to people who are starting their own business to people who want to shift their money, their relationships, their physical health. There is something in this book for everyone. So I really hope that, it brings benefit to the people that read it.
And please share with us when you read the book, start implementing and applying the teachings that Joanna shares to your life. Please share with Joanna or with KMD Books that changed, what happened for you, because that feedback is always it's a gift, isn't it, Joanna?
Absolutely. And if anybody gets stuck or needs help in the journey, you know where I am. Please reach out. I'd be happy to help you.
Oh, that's a very, very generous offer. So thank you so much. If you're in the Facebook group and the event page, watch out. There's going to be some giveaways popping up over the next hour. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.